Hey guys, just near JHart Modelworks. So in last week's midweek mail call video, John from Amateur Scale Modeling Builds asked to see an unboxing on one of the Hasegawa kits, as he's never run across a Hasegawa kit before. So I figured we'd go ahead and we'd just throw up another midweek video with the Hasegawa Ferrari 348 TS. Now this is not a project that's coming to the bench anytime soon. I'm just going to go ahead and throw up an unboxing video on this. In my opinion, Hasegawa, they're great kits. I don't think they're quite as good as Tamiya kits. Tamiya is always going to be my favorite, but Hasegawa sits as a really close second. They're kind of the best of all the Japanese kit manufacturers in one box. They're going to be a higher quality and better engineered kit than, say, a Fujimi kit. They will be less needlessly complicated than an Aoshima kit. Now, Aoshima does things like make a bunch of parts just for the sake of increasing parts counts. Take, for instance, the Lamborghini Aventador. Like, I get they wanted separate doors so they can do the gimmicky Lamborghini door thing. Fine. I typically glue those closed because otherwise the hinge mechanism doesn't really work. But the lower panel of the body is a separate piece that has to be glued onto the rest of the body. The upper side air vent things, they're typically closed, but if you get the car up to a certain speed, you can open them. Now, I would understand if they gave us the parts to display them open. They don't. It's just a flat piece that you have to glue onto the body for the sake of gluing a part onto the body. The rear spoiler is kind of the same way. You get the car over a certain speed, the rear spoiler lifts. Otherwise, it's just kind of molded to match the body. They don't give you the parts to, show it as a lifted spoiler. They just give you a separate spoiler to glue on for the sake of gluing a part onto the body. And they do that quite frequently with various parts in the kit. So they make needless complexity. Hasegawa can be complex, but the complexity is there for a reason. They're giving you the actual Ferrari suspension, and you'll have several parts that have to go in there to build that suspension up. I don't think they're going to be quite as high a quality kit as a Tamiya kit, especially Tamiya's new stuff like the T50. The T50 is a whole different level of engineering. It is magnificent. But Hasegawa, in my opinion, will be a very close second. So let's go ahead and get the camera flipped around and see what is inside this box. Alright guys, here we are. Get our box. Instructions. They are fold out. Pretty common in the 80s and 90s. Paint callouts. When I got this kit, first thing I did was grab the clear parts and put them in a plastic bag because they were laying loose in the box. All in all, they're pretty clean. There are some scratches on them just from being in the box, and not sealed up. We'll most likely have to do a bit of sanding and polishing, but we should be able to salvage those up. Again, the plastic itself, clarity is really nice. Go to chassis sprue. Fairly detailed chassis. That suspension tie rod there is going to be very delicate. So you've got your pedals in there.
Rear wheel wells are going to be separate parts you're going to need to glue into place. We have our next white sprue. These are body pieces. These will be the fins for the air intake on the side of the car. Very clean. Molding is fantastic. This is the rear engine cover. Notice it is already molded open. That is beautifully done. The shocks are nice and clean. Looks like a washer reservoir. Suspension looks very nicely detailed, possibly fragile. You want to be careful with that. And the brakes are okay, not fantastic, but they're pretty much on par for brakes out of 90s kits. Chrome sprue, which is basically just the wheels. We have a gray sprue, which is for the most part engine and exhaust. Very nice job on molding the exhausts. Those tips are really pretty clean. Would not be hard to get in there with a drill and open those up a little further just to help them look a little nicer, but not super necessary. They will still look really, really good if you don't. Very cleanly molded detail on these engine components. I mean, those are just ready to have some spark plug wires put in them. I mean, you'll have to drill them, of course, but I mean, they even give you nubs for where your drill needs to go. Very nice detail. Little soft on the exhaust. Black sprue is going to be, a lot of it's going to be interior stuff. Very nice detail on the dash. Tub is nice and clean. No idea what that component is. The door cards are so much better than the Fujimi ones from the 355 I just finished up. Now there are some holes in here because these are the door handles, and you're going to glue those in separately. But yeah, those door cards are much nicer. Seats are pretty nice. They do have separate backs to them here. And that headrest should be... There's a little bit of flash in the headrest, nothing major. These actually would be separate pieces. The actual car, these headrests lift and lower. So if you wanted to, you could get in there and cut those headrests off, drill them, add a little bit of metal rod, and have raising and lowering headrests, and you pretty much can tell exactly where you need to drill them because they've got the posts there. We have the body. Again, they have that rear grille molded open. Very nice. Very cleanly done. Detail is pretty crisp. Panel lines will need just slight rescribing, nothing major. I mean, they're pretty deep now. They come up nice and crisp. A lot of models, like with the Fujimi I just built, when you got right up on this top edge, that panel line got real soft and real blurry. It came up and just blurred out. These are all really very crisp. Your mirrors are already drilled out, so you've got a mounting point in there. Kind of hard to see, but there's some detail in that lock in there. Very nicely done. That is going to be ridiculously fragile right there. So when you cut these supports off, you want to be really careful about how you do it. And you definitely want to use nippers. Don't go in there with like a heavy-handed hobby knife or something. You want something that can make a very delicate cut. And I would make that cut further back and then come in and cut it again once it's up closer. Be very careful when you're standing too, because this is just asking to get broke. Well, all in all, a really, really nice body. This kit comes with a photo etch fret. Some really nice mesh. Mirror pieces, your various scripts. Now, I like to use metal transfers if I can for these. I don't really like putting glue on this and trying to glue it onto the body, but you know, you do what you got to do. Those are the little pininferindos on the side. You've got a hood ornament, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be a decal that should go there. You can lay the decal over that, and that's going to give it a little bit of texture. And after that, if you really want to be fancy, add a little bit of UV glue to it and try to get it as flat as you can, but just get a little bit of UV over it to give it more of a dome shape, and then cure it up. The little cavalinos that go on the grills. For probably a 90s kit, this is a really nice touch. Polycaps, pretty standard affair. We have tires. Are they branded? Tread on them is nice. There's a bit of flash on there. Just clean that up with a sander. They don't look to be branded Pirellis. Oh, they're Bridgestones. They are branded, it's pretty faint. Look like you've got some stagger here. Yeah, you got wider rears. Looks like they may be taller as well. All in all, those are really nice. And last but not least, we've got our decals. Older kit, 1990. It says right here. They are a bit yellow. Probably try and stick these in the sun for a while, for a few days, see if they won't clear up a little bit. Otherwise, you know, we could possibly scan these in and reprint them. Alright guys, so that is going to be a wrap for this unboxing. Like I said in the intro, this is not coming on the bench right away. We're just doing an unboxing real quick to show John from Amateur Scale Model Builds what was inside the Hasegawa kits and the quality of them. As he said, he's never run across a Hasegawa kit before. John, I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I always appreciate you watching the videos and your support for the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.